You can't remember what you had for lunch 3 days ago, but you remember the exact way the porch light looked, buzzing yellow, the night someone told you it was over. You forgot her last name years ago, but you still remember the specific pitch of her laugh cutting through a parking lot on a Tuesday that meant nothing to anyone else. That's not a bad memory. That's not forgetfulness. That's something else entirely, and once you notice it, you won't be able to unsee it. That's an emotional memory, a mind that keeps the feeling long after it lets go of the facts. Here are 7 signs you might have one of the rarest kinds of memory there is. The first sign, they can forget an entire conversation word for word, but never forget the temperature of the room while it happened. Ask them what their coworker said in that meeting 8 months ago and they'll draw a blank. Ask them how the office felt that afternoon. Too cold, the fluorescent light buzzing just slightly too loud, someone's chair creaking every few seconds. And they'll describe it like it happened this morning. Their brain isn't storing transcripts, it's storing atmospheres. Somewhere between the moment and the memory, the words dissolved and only the weather of it survived. The second sign, and it's one most people never clock in themselves, is that smell and sound ambush them harder than sight ever does. A particular detergent on a stranger's jacket in a checkout line. A song skipping through on shuffle they haven't heard in 11 years. Suddenly they're not standing in a grocery store anymore. They're back in a specific hallway, a specific year, a specific version of themselves they'd almost forgotten existed. Nobody warned them the memory was loaded. It just went off, and it takes a second to remember where they actually are. Sign 3 is the one that quietly unsettles them once they actually sit with it. The memory feels perfectly accurate, crystal clear, like it couldn't possibly be wrong. But the exact sentence, the exact order things happened, may have shifted slightly over the years without them ever noticing the edit. Dr. Elizabeth Loftus at UC Irvine, who has spent decades studying memory, has found that vividness and accuracy aren't the same thing. A memory can feel completely certain and still not be word for word true, which means what they're really holding on to isn't a recording. It's the emotional truth of the moment, polished a little more every time they've replayed it since. The fourth sign is that they mark time by how a year felt long before they can tell you what year it actually was. Ask them when something happened, and they'll hesitate on the date, but they'll know instantly whether it was during the stretch where everything felt heavy or the year right after, when things had just started to feel light again. Their internal calendar isn't built from months, it's built from emotional seasons, and they can walk through their whole life by feeling before they can walk through it by fact. The fifth sign is the one they rarely say out loud, because it sounds strange until someone else finally names it. Certain memories don't arrive like a memory at all. They arrive like the moment is happening again, right now in the body, at 2 a.m, for no reason they can point to. Not a gentle recollection, a full replay, the same tightness in the chest, the same held breath, like the feeling never actually left. It just went quiet for a while. The sixth sign shows up in the people they've lost touch with. They'll remember the exact way someone's voice cracked on a single word. During a goodbye, that person has probably forgotten they even said. They're still carrying a version of that moment the other person let go of years ago. There's a particular kind of loneliness in that, being the last one left holding something 2 people once shared. The seventh sign is the one that makes them feel like something's wrong with them when it isn't. They'll blank on a name 5 seconds after being introduced, forget which restaurant they went to last weekend, lose track of dates that should matter. Meanwhile, a passing comment from 4 years ago, said in a tone just slightly off, still lives in them rent-free. It's not a memory problem. It's a filing system that was never built for facts. It was built for feeling. If any of this sounds like you, it's not a flaw in how you remember. It's a sign of how fully you feel things, deeply enough that your mind kept the feeling long after everything else quietly faded. Tell me one moment you still remember exactly how it felt, even if you've forgotten almost everything else about that day. And if this described you, stick around. There's more like this here.